Tonight's speaker refused to give me any biographical information about himself whatsoever. So I'm just going to kind of make it up. Eike started his career working in the music industry as the art director of Logic Records until 1994, when he started Hort, originally in Frankfurt, now based in Berlin, specializing in illustration, branding, and communications. Over the past 20 years, the studio has built an international reputation for its fearless graphic output. Hort is sought out by huge clients such as Nike, Adidas, MTV, Volkswagen, IBM, and the New York Times, but they also make time to work with really small clients as well as make their own self-initiated projects, including starting their own band, which you'll see tonight. Their work is featured in countless publications, and their first monograph was published in 2005, which was a long time ago. But equally impressive is the fact that Hort has done all this and remained true to their mission, embodying an attitude that encourages learning, growth, and especially play. In fact, Hort translates as after-school care club in German, and this spirit inhabits the multidisciplinary studio, which Eike refers to as a playground for creative people. He is committed to the idea that work does not come at the expense of play, and their design epitomizes this idea, sometimes through audacious simplicity, and other times with a complexity of ideas and images and attitudes that feels like it could fall apart at any moment. Hort is bursting at the seams. Eike talks of his designers as though they were his children, and he brings this same generosity with him wherever he goes. Design is a social endeavor, one that connects people with ideas and places, with technology. And when I said that Eike refused to give me any biographical information, it was because he was more interested in representing the collective that is Hort as opposed to himself personally. More interested in communicating intimately with an audience than reading off a list of achievements, which is why I'm here to do that. When not running Hort, Eike teaches graphic design and illustration at the HFG University of Arts Offenbach, among others, and in 2011, he and his studio were named Germany's Visual Leader of the Year by the Lead Academy. Please join me in welcoming Eike König.
Hello. Oh, yeah, it works. Wow. It's the first time that I speak in the United States. I'm very nervous. Please excuse the lack of vocabulary I might have during the speech. Thanks very much, Andrew and Emmett, who brought me here. It's a big honor for me to be here at the Walker Arts Center. And I was following the work of the design team for a long time. And now I'm here on this most famous stage where a lot of people have performed already. And yeah, let's go.
You are while you're falling apart and it opened a can of worms. And that gun's in my hand and I know it looks bad, but believe me, I'm innocent. And I'm fearful of flying, and flying is fearful of me. And I covered my eyes when she told me the news, turning me on with my lightsaber cocksucking blow. Are you coming? 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 Nicotine stain on account of a crutch, and I'm aching from fucking too much. And I know what I do, and it all points to you. Did you sell me to Wanderlust? And I'm fearful of flying, and flying is fearful of me. And I covered my eyes when she told me the news, turning me on with my lightsaber cocksucking. Are you coming? 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 I'm fearful of flying. I'm flying to my life. And I covered my eyes when she told me the news, turning me on with my lightsaber cocksucking blues.
Yeah, thank you. When I read about my studio, it was written that we are one of the most fearless design studios Europe, and I thought if I would be really fearless, I would stop here and go out for a beer or something. But for sure, I'm not doing that. Then I thought, okay, what else could be fearless? And I thought maybe I do my lecture completely the opposite way. I start from now and go back to my childhood. But I was thinking about that the last 2 days, and I couldn't really sleep because of that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to make that. It's not possible. I will fail. I mean, fail is good, but not on this stage here. So, as Emmett said, I'm the one who stays here on stage and talks about the work we are doing, this group is doing. And I thought I'd show you an aggressive, fearless studio. The image is a reference to a movie named what's the name of the movie? Rebel Without a Cause. Rebel Without a Cause, yeah. You know that, or because the German title is even more funny. It says, "Denn sie wissen nicht, was sie tun," and that means because they don't know what they're doing. And to be honest, and this is streamed here to the world, I really don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah. It's censored, this word, as you can see. And who the art is Eike König. I think it's a very important question everyone should ask themselves, who am I? Because I think if you find out where you're coming from, what influenced you, what your interests are, you might find an answer for your own future and create your own future. So I'm always asking myself, what influenced me and why am I doing what I'm doing? I think two of the persons who have a big influence in my own life is for my father. He's an architect and he taught me to focus on one idea and to avoid decoration in my work. He's very pragmatic and success-oriented and strict, and quite the opposite to my mama. From her I have all the empathy and the humor, the honesty, the respect and the deep love and trust in myself. It all comes from her. And they both, when I was young, they both trusted in me and helped me to become who I am by supporting and respecting me and my decisions, even if they sometimes didn't understand what the decision is about. But what they told me, most importantly, was that I'm responsible for what I'm doing, and then that I can have a positive influence on my environment. Yeah. Have a look. So easy. Okay, I grew up in a time named Cold War, and that influenced me a lot because the magazines were full of these little icons showcasing how the power is, or the balance of power is at that time. And I was wondering why these little icons were touching me so much, so deeply. and I asked myself, what is it behind? And I found out that it's graphic design, that someone who's able to use imagery to explain complex situations. And so I got interest into graphic design itself by these little infographics. And another big influence in my life is music graphic. I have two older cousins, and the good thing when I went to visit them was that I always had the chance to browse through their record sleeve collection. And I always were looking for who's designing the cover to the music I was listening to. And this is, for example, Storm Torgerson from Hypnosis, and he is a very good storyteller with pictures. And I met him 2 years ago in Amsterdam, and he's a very, very great guy. So my idea was, okay, I like to become a graphic designer. I studied graphic design at University Darmstadt, and that's kind of a Ulmer school follow-up. I hated going to university. I was a big fan of David Carson at that time, and not because David Carson was very radical in the way he used typography. It was more about the way he saw himself as a scientist, like he was treating the Format magazine as something where he could experiment with. So by these little interactions he was doing, he completely destroyed the way you were looking through a magazine. And I thought, okay, I would like to become a scientist in graphic design and not someone who's just repeating what other people were doing before. That idea of graphic design wasn't very popular at that time in my school, and a lot of professors were not really liking me. And I really had a hard time studying graphic design there. So I didn't know what will my future be. So I did the first internship in a Swiss design, no, not a design, an ad agency. And after 2 weeks, I found out advertising is something that I'm not able to do because I don't want to go to work day by day and lie a little bit. So advertising was something I thought, okay, I can't do that, but what is my own thing then? And I did my second internship at a record label, and Emmett named it already. The name is Logic Records, and it was a very well-known, small, independent record label that has an office in New York and an office in London, and it was owned by these guys here.
Американская фирма Transceptor Technology приступила к производству компьютеров «Персональный спутник».
Yeah, the band Snap. The band Snap was running this record label, and somehow this record label is a blueprint of my own company. The way they treated the people who were working there was something totally different than I had before. And I thought, okay, if I want to open my own studio, I will follow somehow the routes they came up with. And after a year being the art director, I forgot something. So I did this internship. I wanted to finish my university. But at that moment when I stopped my internship, the manager told me, or offered me, to become the art director. So I quit my university and I started to become to work as the art director. And I did this for 1 year. And after a year, I quit and started my own studio named Hort. And like Emmett said, Hort is an old word for kindergarten or after school care club, something like this. Because somehow I did a workshop with kids together with Anthony Sherritt in London, and kids are having endless creativity and fantasy, and I was watching them and seeing them. When kids feel safe, they start to play, and play is a highly creative energy. And by playing, they grow, they learn, and they socialize. And I thought, okay, this is a good idea for running my own studio. So that's why it's very well connected to this after-school care club, because I thought, where are all these grown-up kids going after school or after university? And I just go through these images. And I thought, okay, I need some rules. Pretty naive. Enjoy what you're doing, get paid, don't work with, only accept work that challenges you and you can build up a relationship to. Don't work for people, but with people. Be honest to your client and yourself. You can read it by yourself. And I'm still following these rules. They are somehow like the foundation of my working life. And another one is I like to invest in relationships rather than money and success. That means I don't work for brands, I work with people. That's a different thing. And I don't work for a brand, I work for the audience of the brand. So it's all about people, and that's what I'm so interested in, building relationships to people. I focused on music graphics for a long, long time. I just designed, I don't know, 300, 400 record sleeves. And I thought I could do that until the end of my life. I'm very romantic, but life teaches you that it's not possible. The music industry now is completely destroyed and there's no money involved anymore if you design a record sleeve. So I had to open up. That's me. Yeah, that's fearless. Would you show yourself on this big screen like this? I mean, this screen is fantastic. Well, okay. Why did I stop here at this image? For some of you, he's pissing on my head. Now, somehow it explains a little bit the way I see my job. This is for a CD, electronic music, and the title of the CD is Geschmeidig, and that means translated smooth. It was a very popular word at that time. And I got a brief from the client, and I know the client for a longer time. And he said, okay, smooth, I think about something like silk or naked, something sexy, naked women or something like this. And that's the first thing I'm not doing. Even if sex sells, I'm not using that to sell my work. I'm denying to do that. And I think for sure this is the first idea that comes up if you think about smoothness. So so what I'm doing is I'm never trying to get to the image my client has in his head. I'm always trying to focus on the subject and then try to reinstall a better image in his mind. That's a lot of work. So we thought about what is smooth, and as I was a gymnast when I was young, I don't look like this anymore, but I was doing sports when I was younger. Thinking about someone doing sports, the movement itself is very, very smooth, even if it's a very complex system that happens there. And it looks so easy, but it's very, very difficult. And we thought someone is putting so much energy into this, getting to this level of smoothness. What are these guys doing in their spare time? So we developed a world of sportsmen, yeah, doing something in what they're doing in private. And for sure, the first image was not the one that was on the cover. You have seen that, but it went into the booklet. And first, our client said, "We can't do that." But after long talks and after guiding him through the whole process, he accepted that as a good idea, and then we went to the realization of that. So somehow that's how I like to work. I like to surprise people, and that's what I expect also from the designers I'm working with. I never tell them make it good. I always tell them surprise me, and that means they have to put something very personal in the work, and it's not so easy to surprise me. But let's go back. I mean, I spoke about the music industry. It went down, and then the first international job raised up, and it was for Walt Disney. I received an email from Los Angeles, and I thought it's a joke because they were asking if we can design a worldwide campaign for EXPN. They saw an image of our work in a book, and they think we had this idea, and they thought we can build puppets. And I thought, Walt Disney is the biggest puppet builder in the world. Why shall they go to a little German studio? But then we started to change our working time into Los Angeles time, 9 hours back. We worked overnight for 2 months, and we created all these images. And I learned a lot from this first international job, and I found out I really, really love working international. That's a bigger challenge than work in your own cultural society, and you can learn much, much more by going this way. And this is a very actual piece of work. It just got out last week. So we're still designing record sleeves, but it's more kind of a hobby of ours. It's because we are from there, we're coming from there, and there's no money involved anymore. But this was a very interesting job. It was for Mark Romboy and Kanishi. And Mark Romboy is a German tech house pioneer, and he collaborated with this Japanese producer Kenichi. And we were asked to design or to art direct the design of it. And we created an art direction for them based on a photo series realized in collaboration with upcoming and young photographers, somehow to support them in their career. And exploring several major photographic subjects, we developed a specific group of pictures. And through the die cuts, the crucial part of each image is removed, and we refer back to the medium of music itself. Did you understand what I wanted to say? Yeah? Okay. So it's a very, very expensive object now. And we even printed the sleeves inside in the color. That's super expensive. We have a little colored dot on the spine, and this is the only color outside. Very expensive, kind of object of desire that we created. I have one with me. Later I will give out some stuff I brought from my studio. So if someone likes CDs, I have one. How to create a creative space. I started like this, like a German factory. Working. I got pretty fast, very successful because the music industry is very small. And so I got to a point where I got a burnout with 29, 30 years old. And I was fearing the next day, I was fearing the white paper, I was fearing the next step in my life. And so I stopped working for a couple of months. I couldn't really work. And I just reflected my own life and found out, okay, I'm limited with what I can do. As a graphic designer, it's always very frustrating to find out that you're limited. And I didn't want to accept that, but after a while I accepted my limitation, and that gave me a lot of freedom because then I opened up and started to work with other people. And this is how it looks now. I'm still in there, but I have a lot of very individual personalities around me. And these people are very important for me because you have seen them before, they are making Hort what Hort is. We have set up some, now first I go to how international we are, because we are not kind of typical German studio. We have someone from Hawaii, we have someone from Korea, we have someone from Australia, Canada, what else? London, Switzerland. So I find it much more interesting to work with people from different cultures because they bring in all their culture and their education. And when we cook together, it's quite international what's on the table. And I love that, being connected to other cultures. And we have set up some rules. Respect them like you want to be respected. It's very, very simple and naive again. Let them be who they are. Diversity is the key for growing. Trust them from the bottom of your heart. Let them fail and learn. They will gain strength and self-confidence. Give them as much freedom as you can, and let them go and support them to follow their own way, their own path. So out of my studio, there are a lot of very, very well educated designers who start their own businesses now. And I don't see them as competitors. I see them as friends who have to leave somehow Hort because they will not learn anything more there. And this is the right step to go to run their own studios. And we are all connected. And so somehow Hort is in a constant change. But with some designers, I'm working since more than 13 years now. And with a lot of them, I'm working since 5 or 4 years. So I'm really into this relationship with these people. And if someone is leaving, it really hurts. And I can't just take someone else and install them instead of this person who leaves. So I have a very, very strong connection to everyone I'm working with. And I think some of them are watching the stream right now. So I started in Frankfurt, but now we moved to Berlin. In 2008, we moved to Berlin because Frankfurt is the capital city, and I'm the only one who was born there, who grew up there, and who has the friends there. And everyone else was not having any connection to the city. So I asked them, okay, would you like to work in Frankfurt or would you like to move somewhere else? And they said, okay, we would like to be in Berlin. So that's why we all packed our stuff and moved to Berlin as a group of people. And we found a very big space, like 400 square meters, with a big terrace outside, a roof terrace. And I think space is very important for creativity. And we don't have any doors in that space because I think doors are borders you have to cross. So it's a very open space where everyone is working together. I even have a bed in there. I like that. Yeah. Life is a gift, not a fucking mission. And everyone knows that. I'll print you. Yeah, technique. And because of we all move together and we feel a little bit like kind of a family. We do a lot of social things together, like movie nights and things like this. But this is not coming from me, it's coming from them. They say they would like to do something. And then, for sure, when we do a movie night, 2 of the designers sit together and create the posters. Rambo, Schwarzenegger, So one is designing the type and one is designing the image. And for sure, somehow, all the designs that are created somehow in free time will come back later in real commissioned jobs. I'm very slow. Okay. Bauhaus is dead. Bauhaus is dead. We were asked a couple of years ago to redesign Bauhaus Dessau Foundation. And when we accepted this job, it felt like there's a heavy weight on our shoulder because everyone knows this modernist school. It's important for a lot of designers, even for us. And we felt like a lot of people were watching what we're doing. We felt like being on stage, and we knew that whatever we come up with, people will say it's not good. And some people will say it's good. And this was the logo for the last 20 years, designed by Zyan, one of the best design agencies in Germany for me. And it seemed to work for 20 years, but from the contemporary perspective now, it looks a little bit outdated. It looks like a cheap furniture brand that refers to something older and bigger. And so we said, okay, we can't really work with this cliche, the shapes and the colors. We have to say no to them. We have to leave them as a heritage. And so we were struggling a lot, and we had a lot of talks with the director, Philipp Oswald. He's an architect and a publisher, and he's a very intelligent guy. And during these conversations, he said in a side sentence that Bauhaus is dead. And we were like, why? Why is Bauhaus dead? And he said, yeah, it died a long time ago when it closed down. So we are a foundation who have to deal with this heritage material. So we are not the new Bauhaus. We are a platform for the old Bauhaus. And in another sentence, he said, also we already have a logo. And it's on the facade, and it's very famous. Everyone knows that. And it has this typical A, this constructed A. And we went back with the train and said, okay, there was something very important today that we have to put into our identity. So what we did was we decided to search for a solution that is more based on the original ideas of Germany's most influential modernist school, like functionality, design, democracy, and mass production. And we were searching for the most generic typeface, and that's the Courier. It's on every computer in the world. It's for free. That's democracy. What we did was we just changed the capital A to that A, referring to that one. And then, yeah, we set it vertically. Very easy. My God. Ha. That's the identity. It's all about, we're using a strict typography, a minimalist layout, standardized formats, and no color. Everything is, a lot of things are not pre-printed, they are printed on demand. So, so the whole thing is about organizing information on a format, and when it got out, that's the core identity of the foundation. And when it got out, a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, what is this? That looks like a letter from the tax office, from the tax government." We were inspired by those letters from tax governments because that is Germany. A lot of people said, "Oh, it looks so bureaucratic." To be honest, we are Germans. We are bureaucratic. We love that kind of organizing things. So that's somehow really, really, for me, it reflects very well this foundation, and um, it's just the platform to support the original material from Bauhaus. So our idea was not to create an identity that looks like Bauhaus visually, and when they come together, the original material and our identity, they will fight against each other. Which one is better, the more original Bauhaus? So the whole thing is settled down a little bit, and then you see how heritage material is working within that very simple system. We have another typeface. It's Areal. Then there was like, Areal, you can't use Areal. Areal is a rip-off from Helvetica, but it's for free. And then to start promoting the new Bauhaus identity, we worked together with Ola Kolemainen, whose work focused on exploration of contemporary architecture. He's an artist, and we really love to work together with artists. And he did this kind of modern photography of the original Bauhaus. We do a lot of other stuff like publications, like pocketbooks. I have a couple of with me. They are in German. Maybe someone of you understands German. I will give them to them then. But what the very good idea on this identity was that we said, okay, that's the core identity, but we have publications like the Bauhaus magazine that should be more contemporary, that should be more like changing during the years, refreshing every time. So what we were doing, we created a jury. It's Philipp Oswald, it's Professor Markus Dresen from Leipzig. He's a professor for book design and is a very famous book designer in Germany, and myself. And young graphic designers can apply to become the Bauhaus designer for 1 year. And the first year it was Novamondo. They designed these. Then it was Our Polite Society from Amsterdam. They were last year. And now this year is Zyan, but there's no magazine out yet. But what happens is you always need someone who trusts you, someone who is willing to go through a design process that is based on discussions and critique on an eye level or on a kind of respect. So because before we were like these, music designers, everyone can design a record sleeve, it's so easy to do that. And then we were into sportswear like Nike, the big freaky brands. So not one cultural client came to us, and it started with Bauhaus, and now a lot of cultural institutions come to us and want to work with us. The problem is that your work for cultural institutions is very, very bad paid. You're at the end of the chain, and people expect from you that the way you support our own culture is you work for less money. And even we have to eat. So we try to find a balance between cultural jobs and more commercial jobs. But it's not so easy. One of the biggest clients that got out of that is Musanturm. It's a very well-known institute for performing arts, theater, and dance. It's located in Frankfurt, and they got a new director. And I must say, a lot of the work we're doing we think is good, is because of the people we are working with. So we needed Philipp Oswald, this guy who's a director of Bauhaus, who says we do that. And we needed that guy, Nils Everbeck, who was a new director of Musanturm. And when we started working together, he said, okay, I would like to change Musanturm completely. He rebuilt the house inside. The outside stayed the same, but he rebuilt the house inside. And he said, okay, I would like to make it more experimental again. It was a very successful house, but also very popular. And he said, I want to become more radical again. And we were like, wow, that's a good start, you know, someone who likes to become more radical again. And it was the whole idea, what he wanted to do, or what it was somehow connected to, was an artwork from Tim Etchells, or Etchells, I don't know. He's from England. And it's this artwork here, The Future Will Be Confusing. I love that. That's how it is. Future is confusing. So for the reopening, we've been working on the website and all these other stuff, but for the reopening, we thought about, okay, how can a campaign look like? And for sure, we didn't want to create another image because there was already an image, the light work from Tim Mitchell's. And we said, okay, we do something completely new. We treat it like the reopening. We treat it like a blank piece of paper. And what we do is we get the email from our client. This is the email from our client with all the informations, and we just put it on this blank paper. No hierarchy of informations. Even the logo is becoming part of the written text, the written information. So it becomes like a dingbat somehow. And if you put them in repetition, this is really confusing. So that was our concept for The Future Will Be Confusing. How can you get informations out of what we put on the wall there? How can you read the future? So that was our concept. But at the same time, we produced the first production posters. And they are very visual. And this is for Ernst. Ernst means serious. And we worked together with an artist named Lars Rosenbohm. And you don't really know, is this, it's a drawing, it's not it's a painting, it's not a drawing. You don't really know, is it happy or not, you know? Is it a skull or is it... So the whole city was full of these little faces. And then in the streets it looked like this. And from there we started to create a lot of artworks. And there were a lot of discussions, not with Niels Eberbeck, but with their team about what is a poster, or what is the meaning of a poster. And always asking, is it possible for someone who walks by to read what we wrote on this poster? And I think that's a different idea behind a poster. We want to grab attention first, and then if you're interested, you can get closer and read the information you would like to have. But for us, a poster, you can put posters on the wall in Frankfurt. You will not get any visitor to come to Musanturm. It's already well known. So the poster idea is more to be part of an urban identity, and so we treat it in a different way somehow, like this. It's very difficult to read. I mean, it's German, so anyway, you don't. A lot of people wrote them an email saying, "It looks lovely, but I don't get it." What is it about? It's about dance. It's about positions in space. It's about how we explore space by movements and stuff like this. We did that with graphic. Like this poster for jazz festivals, music posters that have a little system behind it. It's always the shapes are always changing. Dance posters, different ones, and for sure website and all this stuff like this. Well, I have much more cultural work, but I had to kick that out of my presentation. I think I'm already over time, probably 4 minutes left until 8. Are you still hungry or? Yeah? Okay. And for sure, if you have these kind of cultural clients that don't pay you a lot of money, so you need someone who does that. And for that, we have other clients like IBM. We do illustrations for them. Or Livestrong. We worked on the rebrand of Livestrong. And that's where everything comes from, Nike. Nike scouted us a couple of years ago, always sending us like jobs, and we always denied for a couple of times because we thought the budget wasn't right for that. And a lot of people fear to say no. The thing is, if they want to work with you, they come back. So there was this moment when we found a good job where we could work together. It was for LeBron James. We developed a visual center for him, kind of a guideline how to deal with this brand. And now we work a lot for basketball, football, and all these kind of sports. And this is for Nike Europe. Sorry. And it was about the young guns of football, the future. So we thought we have to refresh somehow how football looks like, because it's all about these youngsters now. So the color changed a lot. It's very bright and loud. We have this freaky signs in another direction. It's like this. But I would like to show you one project in detail. It's about Witness, the Witness campaign for LeBron James. He became most important player of the NBA. And the idea was that when he traveled to another city to play there, he will wear his shoe in the color of the team he's playing against. And you can witness the moment when he beats this team. So that was the conceptual idea of this campaign. And what we're doing when we work on this kind of big job, we work all together on that, and everyone creates ideas of how it could look visually, like a key visual for the whole thing. So this is something what we develop internally, but don't show to our client. We decide then what we show to them. So it's just an internal pitch somehow, and it's very free and open. We don't see the brand at that moment. It's more like finding like interesting ideas which we could follow. Some would never be realized because they're just not connected to the brand at all. But it's important to go that way and to find out the borders of the brand. Like this, it's beautiful, but it would never happen. I don't know how long this is. Okay, but then we decided to go that way. Big letterpress, wood letterpress, very easily thrown in letters, and it's a series. It's one. This is just typeface, type and product, type and himself, and then we used the color for the background from the team he was playing against. Los Angeles, New York City. The other one was Miami. And then there were different things like this. Yeah, so it's funny because we've never seen our clients. Most of our clients, like Microsoft, Kaye, or Nike on the West Coast, we never went there to see them. It all works via email or telephone, and that's what I really find fantastic is that we, as a small studio in Germany, can work for someone who's 10,000 kilometers or miles, I don't know, away, and that they trust in you. It never really happened in Germany that a big company like Nike came to us and said, okay, let's work on a brand like LeBron James. I mean, this is a billion-dollar guy, and they're responsible for about it. And so we have to take responsibility too. And that always happened with American companies. That's why I like to. I'm happy to speak here the very first time. Well, now I have to be quick. Okay, very quick. Okay, this is a band named Jazzanova, and it's a very famous band in Germany. They are out of six guys, and it's run democratically. That means if someone doesn't like something, the whole idea died. They ask us if we design a record sleeve for them. And usually they art direct someone to design a record, but this time they said, do it like you want to do it. So we don't know these people. So the first thing what we did was we created different little concepts to find out who they are, like a psychology test. The first concept was we used a little circle, and we used a power that interacts with this circle and creates like a pool of shapes. And then we have another rule how to use these shapes on the format. 2 colors, 2 shapes, put it on top. They liked it. They liked that there's a system behind it. And they said, but it's too cold. It's too technical. It doesn't represent them on their music. They said, okay, we do something completely different. The opposite of it. We designed or we hand-cutted a logo. We gave them more depth. We were even able to tell little stories like a theater. We became philosophical, like from inside outside or outside to inside. And they liked that it's done by hand. They loved the aesthetics, but they still thought it's too flat for them. And we said, okay, now let's find out. We understood now. Okay, it's going to be handmade, but we don't know how deep it should be. So let's try and find out how much they are influenced by contemporary graphic design. And at that time, hand-drawn stuff was very popular in Germany, and constructed typefaces. So we thought, okay, let's create something that is hand-drawn. But we hope that they will not take it. So we have to install something that they will not take it in the end. You see, I'm a therapist. So we created that here. And then we drew it. And when I presented that, you were like, oh yeah, that's great. Awesome. How you combine this. Oh, it's a beautiful illustration. This is watercolor. Oh, yes, it is watercolor. It's a pen. Oh, you can change that. Screw. Oh, lovely. We love it. And then we got into how we would portray themselves. And they were like, shall we look like this? We said, yeah, you'll look like this. But why do I have this kind of strange object in front of my eye? Because of that, you know. Yeah, but we don't look good. Do you have to look good? So they always want to look better than they look. That's a problem we often have. So the whole idea died. Cool. Then we did something else, more with just colors and patterns and type. They liked it. But nothing more. They like, yeah, we like, but not even, they didn't even say Anything else? Just, yeah, it's okay. So from there, we went to another idea of another system. We love creating systems. And so we use universe as a type family with more than 20 weights. We split Casanova up in these 3 lines, and we just changed the weight every time of the letter. So yeah, we can generate, out of that idea, we can generate lots of moments. And then we create another system how to use that logo. It's the format is divided in 4 parts. We have a pool of images or graphics and a rule how to use these, how many colors and stuff like this. I think this is one of the most beautiful covers we designed in the studio. And they were like, wow, this is really, really good. Somehow we don't know, is it contemporary? Is it old? Is this history? It really looks fresh, but at the same time it has some old references. And they really, really love that. And I was like, wow, we are very close now. The problem was one of them was ill, lying sick in bed with fever. So they were calling him, saying, oh, here, we are at Hort, presentation, fantastic. We think that's a very good solution. And for sure, what happens if someone of a group feels like he's the only one who couldn't see the work and he thought the decision is already made. He came later to the studio and looked through that. He said, well, yeah, that's very good. It looks good. But it reminds me somehow on a record sleeve from a Polish jazz band from the 60s, where they also used this printing technique, this, 2 colors on top. Everything reminds me on something. I mean, we are not coming out of nothing. There's a big history of shapes behind us, And for sure, at that time, the printing technique was like this, print 2 things over. So the whole idea died because of that. And yeah, so how can you motivate your team to work again on that? It needed a while. And then we said, okay, let's keep this idea of the logo and the system. And we showed them this sketch. And they said, we love it. Take the ball off and the pyramid, we love it. It's perfect. And I said, it's a sketch. No, it's perfect. It's a sketch. It's on its way to becoming perfect. But we love it like it is. And I said, you know what? I invested so much money already in this project. I lost money because of that. I will not give you this sketch if you don't allow me to make it perfect. And they were like, are you crazy? I said, no, I will not give it to you. So they allowed me to do work another 2 weeks on that. And we transferred the sketch into a real object. We used a special paper that comes in different weights and different colors. And we created this kind of sculptures, typography sculptures. And all the layers we had in the sketch are now in real. They never worked again with us. Yeah. Ha, egal. Egal means I don't care. Yeah. Okay. So last one is my own band, or our own band. After working more than 19 years for the music industry, we have so much knowledge in branding and creating worlds around bands. And often, or normally it's like this, bands come to us, the record is finished, and ask us to design the world around it. And we thought there should be another idea of creating bands, and it should be somehow like a playground for ourselves. This is the band T-shirt. You can find here the Hort logo, and for sure you can't sell that because instantly a lawyer from the Beatles will call you and say, you and the next 10 generations of your family will have to pay for that. But a good trick is you're selling a postcard for 25 euros and then you give the shirt for free. No problem with that. So we have a manifest. Collaboration is essential, you can read. So what is the Hort band? The Hort band is not like other bands. It convenes, creates and resurfaces in changing forms and locations. The band's sound and style are not restricted to a specific genre. Instead, the Hort band is kept alive by changing cast of musicians, designers, programmers, performers and artists who offer diverse perspectives in addressing questions concerning contemporary musical expressions. The band works across disciplines and generally exists only in temporary experiences. Also, the primary intentions vary from one performance, recording, lecture, or exhibition to the next. The band draws from ideas explored in Hort bands of the past. Continuity is crucial. The project is in a constant state of evolution, and results are unpredictable by design. In 2010, the band was born. In this primary phase of development, 3 characters, Andvari, Onda, and Sulfan, emerged as the core members of the band. Traveling from a mystical past, the musicians arrived endowed with otherworldly, I had to write that because it's so difficult, traits reflected in their musical strengths, appearance and personality. As a trio, they are oriented towards the music of the future. As individuals, each is rooted in different ancient stories of the beauty of the Scandinavian wilderness. Their collective story is told in the costumes they wear and the personas they inhabit. So the first concert was last year, and we did it in a gallery in Barcelona. And the idea was to create a space around this concert, and the band is always only playing once in their life in this kind of combination of people. So we curate who's the band. No one really knows what kind of music we will play. So the exhibition was all about we ask everyone we are close to, like the whole team developed artworks reflecting on music or on the band itself, like this big carpet, stuff like this, blown ups, masks. I go through that. Prints, furniture, paintings, sculptures, drawings. And that was the exhibition. And in this exhibition, the band was playing. So the whole thing was only for one day. And we were very lucky because Marion Banches and Stefan Sackmeister came to the... and no one really knew what kind of music we would play. And it was jazz. A lot of people expected something harder, something more electronical. But I love to play with expectations, and like you know from designing things, that other people don't expect. And the second one,
Hello, I am Sylphon, a member of the Hort band. In the following part of this presentation, I would like to present to you some of our current musical developments. These developments have led us into the world of electronic music and audiovisual experience. Each of us is responsible for one musical component of the band. We are connected to the basic elements of earth, water and air. We use our connection to these elements to create beats, melody and harmony. Altogether we simultaneously generate music and visuals. The visual language of each musical component is defined by each band member. We use 3 computers as 3 musical instruments to create electronical music and image at the same time. Each band member and vary is related to the earth and stones. In the band he controls beats and rhythm. His tools to create these sounds are stones and crystals. He likes crystals, gems, stones and precise shapes. His strong clear rhythmical sounds are visually expressed through sharp shapes and bold colors. Band member Undit takes care of the melody. The melody flows like water. Water is his element. When he plays, his fluid melody leaves behind musical ripples. I am band member Sylphon. Air and clouds are my speciality. I am the one responsible for the harmony. When I play, my music transforms into ethereal imagery. My visual movements are smooth and fluid, almost ghost-like. Here are some examples of our visual transformation. Please take note, what you are about to see is all a work in progress. And vary experimenting with beats. Sylphon uses a keyboard to experiment with the harmony. The harmony influences the visual threshold of the music and unveils smoothness and simplicity. This being a vast contrast to various beats. Unda experiments with the mouse to create the melody. The movement of the mouse controls the pitch and speed of the teardrop-like inspired tones. When all musical elements come together, a new visual sensation is formed.
So the first test we had in Berlin, and there's a huge firewall, and we projected like 3 projections on this 5-story firewall, and viewers were down on the ground watching the visuals, and I have an example of that with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the premiere of the Hort Band New Sound and Visual Experience 2012.
And the whole thing is something we would like to share with people. So we invest a lot of energy and also money for sure to develop something like this, and then we invite people to join us for one night to enjoy this moment together. And it's not about recording and selling this music. It's more about creating our own playground, visual playground, where we still can learn and where we can take knowledge and information that we got out of this into commercial work later. So this is more like a performance. I mean, it's the idea is that it's three big screens and that you are standing in these screens. We're still searching for a place where we can show this performance. So, but this is the first time that I showed this now here in public, and we're working at the moment on the next one, on the next concert. And the idea is once in a year we do that. And well, I'm coming slowly to my end. I think I'm not doing that anymore because this is already too. Yeah. I had a talk with the great guys from the design department. I really enjoy being here. Everyone is very friendly, and the city it's so fantastic. If you enter a city you've never seen before, every sense is highly active, and I can see a lot of great images here when I walk around. And I couldn't sleep the first night, and so I walked around the city and put it all on Instagram and shared it with the world. I was so excited being in the city, and later I met the people, and it's not about the city, it's about the people. And so I really fell in love with everything here. And we had this talk, and I got asked a lot of times, what do you think? What are you missing nowadays in contemporary graphic design? And I'm missing soul, and that's why we did this poster. It's about soul. I like to see someone behind it. I like to see personality in work. So yeah, I'm coming to an end. Don't fear the future. Haha, that's me. Don't fear the future. We are surrounded by fear. Our clients fear that they make the wrong decisions and then they will lose their job. Fear is a strong energy, and it's the enemy for a designer. So the energy tries to get on you, and someone who fears to design is a bad designer. So you have to be the brave one. You have to be the one who stands up every day and says, okay, I'll give it another try. Even if it doesn't work, I'll try it again and again. If we really want to change something, it has to be you. So, be brave. Stay curious. Do something good while being on planet Earth. Have a good life, and thank you for coming. That was longer than expected, huh? Hold on. Is there someone having birthday today? Someone yesterday here? Yeah? I have a Hort book for you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear unknown. Happy birthday to you. Oh, what else? Ah, yeah. This is German. I'm sorry. This little book series is great. Two guys? Yeah? Okay. He is German. Ay, ay, ay. I'm sorry, I don't have. And a last one. Who likes techno music? Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I didn't throw it. I will hurt someone. Do it the way you want to do it. Okay, any questions? No, thank you. Yes?
Okay, so you were showing us that really trippy video that had to do with like sound and how you created it via like a keyboard.
Yeah.
I was just curious, like you showed like a Mac keyboard and you're like pressing different keys to like create a different sound,
Yeah,
and with the mouse you were moving it to create a different sound. What program was that?
that's Max.
That's Max.
Max, do you know that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
What was it called by chance?
Sorry?
MAX.
MAX, yeah.
Perfect.
It's
Thank you.
a program that connects visuals and sound. And you create these little machines. And
Yeah, I've heard of those.
and with that, every key is connected to one of these machines, and then you can start them. And that you can, with every information income, you can play around that. It's a fantastic program. We never used that before, so we said, okay, one of our team has to learn it. And so Pavla did that. Pavla worked 6 months on the program to find out how it works. And
I'm excited.
and the good thing is that I really like to invest in knowledge. You know, when I had this problem with myself being limited, I said, okay, I work now with people who are better than I am. And the idea behind is because then I can learn from them. And so we share knowledge within the team. That's a very important part of working in teams. It's not knowledge for someone, it's knowledge for everyone.
Yep, good old groupthink.
So Max, have a look, try it out, and then...
Yeah, thank you very much. Any
on the note of working with clients, could you tell us? I wouldn't be able to guess if you prefer doing work for yourself or do you prefer doing work for clients and learning from clients. I know some people like doing one or the other more, but I couldn't possibly guess which your preference is.
I prefer working for clients, or with clients, yeah. I think that's a bigger challenge than motivating yourself to work for yourself. You know. I think it should have a balance. We try to. Everyone in our studio also runs his own things. You know, like some are artists on besides the studios, and yeah, everyone is following something that his interests are stronger in. But client work is I love to work with people, and I love. Them from every size. You know, sometimes you think that if you work for a very small record company and they only give you, I don't know, $200 for a sleeve design, then you think you are free to do whatever you want to, but it's not. They are sometimes harder than the big clients are because they think that they get everything. So when a friend asks me if I can design something for free, I often say no, because I know, even if he wants to give me 50 euros, I say no. It's better not to destroy our friendships because of that. But it's great to work, you know, like with the bigger the challenge is, the more exciting it is to go through. So I learned so many things on all these big international projects. I found out that I can say no to a lot of things. I once had this opportunity to work for a huge tobacco company, and they wanted to give me a lot of money to do something, and I said, I don't do that because I don't want that teenager is probably starting smoking because of my packaging, and I'm pretty happy that I did that, So I was very consequent in my life in what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, and I said, okay, I earn less money, but I have a better life. That's my strategy. And nowadays, a lot of clients come to us because they want to have that, what we offer. And so we never split the company into a money part and a creative part. We think that creativity has to be paid. And if that is not possible, then we don't do it. And if creativity is not possible, then we don't do it. And if the money thing is not possible, then we don't do it too. For sure, charity stuff and so we do for free, but the rest has to pay, I think. But I love that. It's a challenge. Like 50% of my work is working with people. It's like taking the clients through the whole process, giving them the trust and the belief in what you did. It's easy to say fuck the client. It's an attitude I had when I was very young. But you will not change anything if you have this attitude. You have to grow out of this attitude, and you have to be the one who opens your hand and says, "Let's go," And so a lot of my work is really client-based, therapeutical, all the things that they are human beings, So I love that. I love that, yeah. So it's more inspiring to work with clients. And the bigger they are, the more interesting it is. Because then you find out they're still only humans. I remember this, we did a rebranding, a huge rebranding of a agency in New York City. And there are more than 10,000 employees. And I remember how we got that job. It was the creative director called and said, okay, I'm next day in Frankfurt, we're going to meet in a hotel. And I was like, we're going to meet in a hotel? That's a strange story. And then we moved our office to New York. We worked on the branding in their agency. And then the day before I presented to the CEO, I asked his assistant, what do you think? Shall I buy a suit? Or maybe different shoes or something like this? I mean, I'm probably too casual for a CEO. Because in Germany, it's very, you have to wear a suit. It's without you will not make business with these kind of people. And then the assistant said, no. You have to be who you are. He will find out in the moment when you are dressed. So that was like the first big thing when I was like, wow, I can be who I am, even if it's on that level. And then I entered the presentation, and he was talking to me like, you are the professional. Tell me what to do. And I was like, the second wow, and that's how I grew. That's what made me strong and gave me the chance to say no to a couple of things. And I love having relationships longer with clients because then I'm allowed to critique them. And I think that's also part of our job, to critique each other. And yeah.
You talk about how both for you and for Hort, staying fluid and always evolving is a central thing for you. What are you doing to find that next transformation right now?
My personal?
And for Hort.
Oh. I mean, my personal is that I started to teach university. I'm there 2 days a week. So anyway, I had to reorganize somehow how Hort works, because I'm still a big engine in the studio. My transition is a little bit like I try to make what I did in the studio now on a bigger scale with students. You know, so that's, I love to work with students. I love to work with young people, and I love to help them becoming strong personalities. So I think for me personal, this is where I'm going. And I hope that one day I can leave the studio to the younger ones, and they make whatever they want to with that, because they already have this genetic of the company inside. And I don't know. Let's see. I don't really look so much into the future. It's probably also my problem that I'm not. I'm very much into the moment. I like to enjoy what's now and not to fear what would come or what could come or something. But right now, a couple of designers started their own companies, so I'm thinking about restructuring the who's in charge level. You know, like that I get out of that in charge level and give the possibility to younger designers now. And because we are very, you know, like companies are, there are different systems of companies. There's this triangle one, where there's the boss and then the rest is working for the boss. Then there's a Weather War Dogs one, where, like from the movie, like where a group of people joins for a project and then goes split up again. And we are more like flat organized. There's no real hierarchy, and we work for longer together. That's our idea. And so even the intern, we don't call them intern. They are as important as a senior designer. I mean, we don't have like titles or stuff like that, but I say now senior, like the ones who are working with me since 13 years. And I have no problem to step back from my ego to say, okay, the intern's idea is better than my idea. And so it's all very democratic. I mean, in the end, I have to be in charge because of the money, and I have to take care that the quality is good. But that's all. And I hope that I can somehow, give it to the younger ones, and then they can see and do whatever they want to with that. That would be nice, I think. It's a lot of work to run a studio and to be traveling the world, talking about the work, and then be at the university at the same time. I lost a lot of things because of my business. You know, I lost a lot of social contacts, health, and so on. It's not just a funny thing. It's also hard work, and so I think it's time. I'm getting older, and I think it's time to organize these things slowly. Next year, maybe I will tell you more. But you will find out anyway, so.
Hey, I really liked your Hort concept and band. I just wanted to say that's a really cool idea, I thought. Anyways, I think you kind of touched on this a little bit in the last question, but you were talking about in your later 20s and 30s, you said that you realized you were more limited, or you've kind of like reached your limitations. And I was curious what exactly you meant by limitations and how that kind of brought you further along in your career or being a creative person, and basically how, because you also said that you couldn't work for a while because of it, and I was just curious to hear more about it, I guess.
Yeah, it's this limitation is like I have a couple of skills. I know how to make topography working well, or organizing shapes on a format that looks good or communicates well. But there's things like, for example, like this MAX programming or moving image or digital stuff, where I'm just not having this kind of knowledge, and I'm not having the power to get into this knowledge. So I thought, okay, um, it's very interesting to get someone who is able to do that, and then to learn from him about that. So that's somehow you always search for someone who's not doing the same thing that you do. You know, that's bullshit. I mean, if you're I could clone myself by just searching for the people who think the same way and who design the same way, but that wouldn't help me at all. You know? So I'm always searching for diversity, someone who's doing or is from his person a complete different mentality or something like this, and then I try to figure out what I can learn from him. And this, I think, this burnout moment is, I think a lot of people go through that. You know, I was very young and very successful, and I never thought that I could ever be so successful. You know, I was while I studied, I wasn't sure about if I'm good or not. You know, a lot of professors told me I'm not good, and a lot of professors destroyed a lot of my vision I had of being a graphic designer. And I had to invest a lot of energy to get over that and accept myself as a creative person. So a lot of things happened before that brought me into this situation where I got back to that fear of what happens tomorrow if I don't have an idea anymore, you know, and no one will come to me and say, I don't care, you know. Maybe the day after tomorrow you have this idea. We are under this pressure of delivering creativity on time, in time, in all the things. But even if even if you decide you go by yourself and create your own company, because then you can decide for whom you work, with whom, and the way you work. At the end, you have to eat something and you have to earn money. So it was a big pressure, and it's more psychological. I think it's like, I mean, I know that I'm creative and I know that I can do things, but suddenly I couldn't do that anymore. It was like, yeah, it just didn't work anymore. And then we have to accept that also as part of our creative life, that we are not able to, be creative all the time. So, I mean, I was overworked anyway. You know, like I worked 24 hours, 7 days, and all these things because I thought it's part of my business. And I stopped all this. We don't work on the weekend. We don't work on the in the night. I tried to figure out a very good schedule for working. Like, I think we don't have to accept every deadline. So often a client calls you and says, "Okay, I need a rebrand," and I ask, "Okay." First thing I ask, "How much time do we have?" And then they say 2 months, and I say, "It will need 2 years." And they're like, "What?" 2 months, I said. And I said, "No, it will need 2 years." Finally, in the end, you know. And then you try to, it's like being on the market, you know. You try to get as much time as possible, because I think design needs time, a lot of time. And the second one is the budget, I think. So we try to figure out how to get in a very good position to start designing and not feeling this pressure from the early beginning. And now I'm not worrying anymore to have no idea. You know, I have a team behind me, and that's so fantastic. You know, like I sit there sometimes days and have not one idea, and I don't have any problem with that. You know, because I know there's someone who will have an idea. It's awesome to work in a team, and so I lean back and say, "It will come again." Yeah, but yeah, now I take care that it's not happening anymore. You know, so, but I also take care for the ones who work at Hort that it not happens with them. You know, because I have to save them somehow, and yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.